Oh, hey, that did not do what it's supposed to do.
Pause, pivot. Conversations are pause, pivot. Conversations are pause, pivot. No more change, no more holding myself back. Answering my purpose, embracing life lost. No, today's a new day. Let the old pass away. No more living, tell me to say. Pause, pivot. Conversations are pause, pivot. Conversations are
Hey, beautiful people. Let's go ahead and get this started. I don't know what that glitch was, but we are here now. We are here now, and welcome to today's episode of What's in Your Cup Conversations. Of course, I am your host, your favorite inspirational speaker, your account strategist and coach, none other than Consuela Nicole. Dude, I am excited about today for a few different reasons. For one, I got a voice that y'all can hear me on, especially right now. So we're going to utilize this for the next 45 to 60 minutes, and we're going to see how good it do. But you already know your girl got her cup in hand. So what's in your cup conversations? What we talk about, not just the physical cup, because we're going to talk about this too, but we also talk about your mental, spiritual, and emotional cup. We talk about, we see the glitz and the glam of everybody, right? We see how everybody got to where they are, but we don't talk about the hills and the valleys, but we talk about the hills and the valleys and the mountains right here on What's in Your Cup Conversations, where we keep it transparent and we keep it real. And my guest today, she definitely know how to keep it real. But before I bring her on, I want to talk about a few different things. Chill with Teddy Ray. I see you, sir. Thank you for being all the way from the West Coast. Thank you for your continued love and support. I actually see my mother is on today. Faye Robinson, thank you for joining in. I love you for life. We have some wonderful, wonderful stuff. I see my brother on. Hey, guys, remember, we are currently live on Facebook and YouTube. Share this conversation out because, we had those tough conversations. We have those conversations that, are taboo. But we also have those conversations that are definitely the answer to someone else's prayer. Because y'all know we live in a time where everybody is afraid of being canceled. Everybody is afraid to be judged. But you do not know the prayers and the things that everybody is dealing with behind closed doors. Before we get going, y'all know your girl did a thing. Of course, we got this tea on deck today, y'all, because these vocals have been doing their thing for the last few days. They are almost back to normal, so I had to make sure I was ready for y'all today. Your girl has done a few things, right? So first and foremost, everyone has asked, how can we get Consuela Nicole and What's in Your Cup Conversations to our location? That's simple. Go ahead and go to our website and check on the Contact Us page of What's in Your Cup Conversations.com. Click Contact Us and send us an email. Let us know what your organization is, what event you have coming up, and we will bring the What's in Your Cup Conversations to your organization, to your storefront, and to your event. And of course, you can always send that email to smile. Yes, I want to see you smile at ConsuelaNicole.com, right? Y'all, but I did a thing. If y'all have not seen, I did a thing, y'all. Book number 2 is officially available for pre-sale. We are talking about none other than Aligned on Purpose, owning your own story and changing the narrative. Y'all already know I'm all about changing the narrative. Just because this was the story that you were given, this is the story that you was born in, does not mean it is definitely the story that you have to continue to live. This is your life. You hold the pen, which means you control the narrative. So make sure you go ahead and go to the website of consuelanicole.com and get your pre-sale order in today, because those pre-sale books are going out soon. I see my guest is backstage. I'm excited to have her on. So we're definitely going to go ahead and get started, because I don't want her waiting any longer, because this conversation has been in the works for quite some time. And I'm going to tell y'all all about that momentarily. But I do, hold on. Let me tell y'all about, and I said y'all, and y'all know I know proper English. But today we're just going to keep it real and we're going to keep it transparent. Today I am talking about none other than Miss Chosen Jones. She is a resilient force out of Jamaica, Queens, New York. I need to make sure I said that right, so I'm going to ask her about it when I get her on. She is a wife. She is a mother. She is an entrepreneur. I mean, she is a businesswoman, y'all, all the way around. She is an author. We're going to talk about that book. She is a founder of an amazing nonprofit for women about healing. We're going to talk about that. She is a survivor of domestic violence. She is a survivor of an accident, an auto accident that would have taken anybody else out of here. But I am blessed today that I can actually talk to Chosen Jones and not about Chosen Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, help me welcome to the stage Miss Chosen Jones. Hello there, beautiful. How are you doing today?
Hello, Consuela. How you doing?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. I am glad to finally have you on today, because baby, this has been in the works for a minute. It is in the works for a minute, and I am excited to have you on. I'm excited to have you here. Like I said, because some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, a lot of people don't make it through. And we could have been talking about you today versus talking to you. And I'm excited to be talking to you. However, before we get going into all of this, I gave a snippet of who Chosen Jones is, right? And as you know, I ask all of my guests this one question on the beginning of every show. I introduce Chosen Jones. How does Chosen introduce herself to the woman in the mirror every morning to get your day going?
That's a really good question. And when you say in the mirror, it starts with, for one, waking up and thanking God for sure that I'm
Amen. Okay.
another day, so that I can put 10 toes to the ground and get up and look at
Right.
myself in the mirror. And when I
Right.
look at myself in the mirror, I see chosen for another day.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay. Chosen for another day. I like that. Okay. Okay. Well, Chosen, well, today you get to spend part of your day with us here on What's in Your Cup conversation. So I have to ask, because New York is not one of the states I visited yet. However, it is truly on my bucket list. So did I do it right? Did I say it's Jamaica, Queens, New York? Is that right?
So absolutely. First and foremost, Consuela, I want to thank you for having me. And yes, my name is Chosen Jones, and I am from Jamaica, Queens, New York, South Side. We outside. So yes, you did say it right. And so a lot of times when I say I'm from Jamaica, people think it's the island, and sometimes I don't correct them because I am a fan of all type of Jamaican food, the
Okay.
music, and the culture. So, but no, I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York, and you said it right.
Wonderful, wonderful. Because I be trying to get this stuff right. I've been corrected a few times for a few different areas. And, that is important to me, to give homage to where, like you said, you put 10 toes on the ground and where you're changing lives. Because Chosen, you changing quite a few lives. I be following you on these social media streets, and you be telling it like it is, and you be keeping it real, like real. But you be keeping it so real. Y'all, let me tell y'all about Miss Chosen. Chosen hemmed me up in a corner. low key bullied me, but it's okay. And I told her I was gonna tell y'all this. She did. We happened to be at the same event in Georgia one year, or one moment, I should say. And we was breaking bread. She caught me in the corner and was like, Consuela, why haven't I been a guest on your show? And I was like, huh? What you talking about? Chosen, you got a testimony? She said, oh, do I? And baby, she ran that down in the middle of that restaurant. I was like, okay, stop. I'm going to need you to email me so we can get you on. And Chosen has been on it ever since. Okay, Consuela, I need my email. Okay, Consuela. So when I say Chosen held me accountable after she bullied me, I appreciate you, Chosen. And I appreciate you for using this platform to tell your story.
And I want to appreciate you having me and allowing me to join your platform to tell my story. And I'm gonna tell you, it was because I follow your platform and I've watched. I don't remember the young ladies that you had, but I listened to her whole story and I was just like, wow, she touched my heart. And I said, if I could just touch one person, then my job is done. So I said, let me reach out to you and see what I can do as well. To
Well,
touch.
you gonna touch a whole lot because I'm gonna just
Yeah.
jump into it, Chosen, because one of the things that I read about in your bio, first and foremost, is one of the most taboo conversations that, we as Americans, period, don't talk about enough until it's too late, per se, was domestic violence. You are now on the other side of this. How does that feel, first and foremost?
Well, just just 2 days ago, when I was just so fulfilled and I was just so at peace that it wasn't tears of fear, it wasn't tears of hurt, it was tears of joy, just because I was outside of that, knowing that there was a time in my life that I didn't believe that I could make it out, so to speak.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that and I'm telling you, just to be outside, like you said, on the outside of it, it's just like, chosen what you have, what you went through, you have to use that to help other individuals, because you weren't alone, even though times where you felt like you were alone, you need to use your voice. And so
Right.
that's why, we're gonna get into that, why I started the nonprofit and my career and things of that sort.
Right. Right. So that's what we're doing right now. So I want to know, and if it's too much, just let me know, right? Because you said you wasn't alone, but there was part of this you were alone or you felt alone in that particular part of your journey. Explain to us what that felt like. What was some of the I don't know if I want to call them red flags, but what was that like for you to finally break free to say enough is enough? I'm done with this season. I'm ready to choose me to get out of it. What was that feeling? What was that day? Can you recount that day?
So when you say, and that's the issue right there, when
Okay.
you feel like you're alone, because I'm saying, from my experience as a victim of extreme domestic violence, you reach that time too many times where the first incident you might say, you know what, I'm done, I'm out the door, I'm running. And actually, I would say the very first incident that I had, where I can go into it a bit, not too much, but I remember it like yesterday. We were getting into a little argument, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm leaving, and I slammed the door. And the individual said, I know you didn't slam my door like that, or whatever the case may be. And then I just ran, and I mean, I was just attacked. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, just bruises from the bottom down. And of course, I didn't go into tell my mom or my grandparents or any of my friends or anything like that. So with that moment, I'm gonna say I was alone, because I didn't want people to know that this had happened to me with someone that I was just now telling, people, like, look, this is my new
Right.
boyfriend. like him, and it seems to be the thing here. So for one, it's embarrassment first. And then it's the bruises. You don't want nobody to see that. So you're going to cover that up. And so I remember it clear as day. No one knew but me and that individual. But so I went back to that individual's house and I stripped butt naked. And I said, "Do you see this? Look at my body. Look at me." And that individual was just like, looking like, and oh my God, I can't believe I did that to you. Then that time, because I did not want no one in my family to know what I was going through, I ended up going to driving like an hour out, um into a shelter. And I stayed there, unfortunately, and this is why I want to change the dynamics and the living conditions for women and children when they have to transition out of um, you know unsafe environments to another environment, making it feasible for them, making it more comfortable, so whereas they don't feel like, wait, I'm leaving, like my grandma say, I'm going from sugar to no,
Right, right.
where I'm, yeah, that bed was comfortable and whatnot. So I remember it clear as day, my first times leaving, running away, seeking help. And I went back to my bed and they had powder all over the bed. And, it was just very hot and there was no food. And I remember coming down and telling the social worker on call, I said, listen, I'm leaving. And she said, no, no, I never had no one leave. I said, but I'm hot. And that same day, when I was leaving, of course, you pick up the phone and here's this person with, they got a new pair of shoes, they got a new, they got flowers, they got jewelry and things like that. And then they're telling you, listen, I made a mistake. And if you're human, you feel like, hey, I done said some things to some people that I would wish that I could take back myself. So I found myself saying, well, hey, you know what? I did some things, and maybe I did something to provoke that. So I'm a go back. And so I went back, and I figured it it would change, and unfortunately, going back, it didn't change. It just got worse and worse and worse over time, to where if you read in the book, I know,
We're gonna talk about it, but go ahead.
it was just more so like, wow, what does it take for an individual to really say, I'm leaving? So you might get to a point of where you are really hurt, and I was, where I had to go to the hospital and get surgery and all that stuff. So my family had to intervene. But then at that time, when you go back to the individual, that's another thing you don't want
Another
nobody.
story.
So
Okay. So what can you tell, that person? And I say person because domestic violence don't just happen to women. It can happen to men too, right? So what can you tell that person that's listening to you right now that is going through some of the things that you have went through, and they're trying to figure out, how can I get out? What is a piece of advice that you can give them? And of course, it's going to be different for everybody. But what was that one piece of solid advice that you can give to that one person that's looking right now and listening to say, I need help?
I need help for sure. One, and I'm gonna answer your question that day that you said it was it. Nothing you're doing is causing this to happen to you. For one, in my mind, I kept on replaying, what could I do different? And the next time, no matter what I tried to do different, whether it was not saying this way, or not doing it this way, or being quiet this way, where literally for a huge chunk of my life, I was walking on eggshells, to the point where I could tell, okay, how he closed the door or slammed the door if he had a bad day at work. Oh God, what am I gonna say wrong? And I, that right there, when I got to the point where there was nothing that I could give to stop this person from cursing at me or putting me down, or I mean money, cars, you name it, that's when I said, wow, I've given you everything. I've changed everything. I don't do this. I'm so submissive to you. I'm giving you everything so you cannot feel jealous. You can be on my level, and yet you still attacking me. That's when I said, enough is enough. Unless I'm just gonna lay down, I might as well just put the Glock
Yeah.
to my head and go. I said I had to leave, and I left. And of course, the individual followed me, and it was the officer said that day. The officer said, because we had to call the police, and the officer said, "My God, I couldn't deal with this person for 8 minutes. I'm not sure how you dealt with this person all these years." So a lot of, if you hear the stories, but I learned, you can't tell your story. You cannot tell the story to everybody, especially to new individuals, new mates, because when
Right.
you tell individuals what you went through or what you made allow for another individual, some reason in their mind they think you're gonna allow them, or you say, well, an individual might say, well, I didn't treat you like that person, so you should feel lucky
You
when you
should, yeah,
feel what I'm saying. So you got
yeah.
to answer your question is, you got to understand that the behavior that this person is choosing to do has nothing to do with what you've done, and there's nothing that you can do to stop this individual from abusing you. Nothing besides leaving and not.
Besides leaving.
Yes,
And see, during your, in the process of your healing, right? Because I personally believe that is going to always be a healing journey, right? That is not something you just get over. And I really hate that saying. You don't get over it. You learn how to work through it, because there are always going to be moments. But in the process of your healing journey, one of the things you gave birth to was the Fire Lady Foundation. Tell us about it.
absolutely. And I actually birthed the Fire Lady Foundation approximately about 10 years ago, right when, you know, I needed sisterhood. I needed, you know, that backbone of women to come together and say, hey, we're gonna get together and support each other. And our mission was to go out there and find other women that, that needed support as well. And when my vice president and I, we started having our monthly meetings, we noticed that our members were going through domestic violence and things like that. So
Right.
right then I said, wow, look at God. You just wanted an outlet. You wanted people that you could connect with, to be more social with. But now it's turned into a whole mission now. So
Mm-hmm.
it went from just a social club and us getting together to a whole nonprofit 501c organization years later to support women, children, and now men. I'm gonna talk about why I added
Okay.
men from I didn't know that men were victims of human
Right.
things like until I met Devon Tucker. But yeah, so and we just got together and we a lot of times we would talk about it, and we found that just us having the group sessions and where we can listen to what we were going through, it really helped us. So we said, sisters, we can take this and we can help others. So that's when we expanded, and then we started doing fundraisers and things like that. We started off with just giving small essential items to the women and children that were leaving like the shelters and moving into permanent housing. And then we expanded throughout that. But then I moved from North Carolina to New York, and so it kind of got in the back door a bit. But 2 years ago, I said, there's a need, and it's
Right.
always been, as you can see, dear to my heart. And having a background in psychology, and then going into now becoming a mental health
Yeah,
therapist,
because we're gonna talk about them accolades too,
I
baby.
said, why not? Oh, and I had to for an assignment. We had to put together an organization. So I'm thinking, listen, for the group assignment, I'm like, don't worry, I already got an
Already
organization.
got it.
And
Yes. Bring
I
it back.
put it into perspective and got the paperwork. And I have a mentor that I really appreciate his mindset at times. He's like, he started talking about 501c3s and getting everything together and grants and things like that. So within the last year, my nonprofit organization went to, just like I said, 10 years ago, a social club, to literally getting honored and recognized by the mayor of New York City for the
Come on.
24 hours a day. But like I said, when you're small, the impact. But when you start to grow, that's when you need to recruit, more
Yeah.
people to join the organization. So I think that's
Right.
are now, to get people certified to take the course, so that they can answer the phone, for victims of domestic violence, so that they can, provide the resources that we have available. And I'm just learning so much, so that I can be able to pour back in to the Fire Lady Foundation.
Uh-oh. Somebody said actually it's been almost 13 years. Man, your
Oh,
folks is giving you love. Hold on.
so that's my Donna. She's actually out. No, she's my community outreach.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
She's on.
She
She's
was like, hold on, give us all our flowers. I ain't mad at that, baby. If you've been putting in the work, you've been putting in the work. So let me ask you this then. For Fire Ladies, is it just now in New York or do you do work in other states?
So we were just now registered 501c in New York City, but
Mm-hmm.
are expanding now. I'm actually putting in the paperwork as we speak to, um, now be able to do it in South Carolina as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna switch lanes just for a second, okay?
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute.
I
She
got that.
okay.
That's one of the original fire
So we
ladies.
gonna give it to her. She's the youth coordinator. So we gonna get it
Oh,
right.
yes,
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna switch lanes just for a minute with you, Chosen. You ready?
yes,
Because there's another situation that took place to where we could have been talking about you instead of talking to you.
right.
Let's talk about it.
Wow.
What's this? I told you I went looking. You had
I,
this as a public picture. So
I definitely put
let's
it out there.
let's talk
Um,
about it.
May 9th, 2016. That was my situation. Um, I was just riding out. I own my own, motorcycle. Ever since I was 18, I've always had, a bike, and always had a love and interest in motorcycles, right? So I was riding in Charlotte, riding out, normal day. But I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna stress the importance of having protective gear on when you're riding. Okay, so I did, thankfully, and that's one. We're gonna thank the Most High God, Jehovah.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I'm gonna say my protective gear, because it could, like you said, the way I was hit, I was coming. Usually, we know as bike riders to ride in the fast lane over to the
Right.
left, so that when cars are bearing on or coming on, we don't interfere, because people can look down. We're coming down, and things can happen.
Right.
This particular day, I was going to meet up with a few other riders, and I was about to bear off. Um, for what I can remember. And so the individual was coming down, and she was 21 years old. So that's another warning for our young adults that are turning 21, that we are able to indulge, really be mindful of the intake that we're taking, because I was coming, no problems ever. I've never been hospitalized for anything else besides pregnancy. Okay. I was out that door in 3 days. I was healthy, wearing heels about this high, and here she comes and literally changed my life forever. I broke everything from the waist down. Um, they took that picture when my mom came and seen me, and that was the state that she found me in. That was called a medical coma, because they were saying, of course, being as resilient as I am, I didn't want to. I was in a state of shock, and so they had to put me out. And I'm gonna tell you, when I woke up, the first thing, I couldn't talk, because of course, there's tubes in my mouth and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell y'all, and I never said nothing to nobody. Till I think I said it to one other person with an interview a few weeks ago. But while I was sleeping, I was in a coma. I was in jail. No one would believe this, and I never believed in, these people, and when they believe, dreaming. But I was literally in jail for a certain amount of time, and I was laying down, and And I just kept on looking outside, right? And then it got to a point where I was like, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And next thing you know, I woke up. And then you could ask my mom the first thing, because I couldn't talk because I still had the tools in my
Right.
mouth, like this. And she's like, write it down, baby, write it down. And I wrote, am I in jail? Jail. They was like, no, you're not in jail. And I was like, then they took the tools out my mouth, and then everybody started telling me how
What was going
I
on?
was on 85 and they was blocking everybody so that cars wouldn't roll over me and everything like that. And it was just it was a I woke up literally like this, couldn't move nothing. My can I say uterus or whatever? But
Mm-hmm.
my whole was like this big. Everything was broken. Ah man, I was a mess, a hot mess. I had people had to wash me up. I always, you know how people talk about CNAs, oh they wash.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Y'all better put some respect on them CNAs in them home attendants, because like I said, if it wasn't for them sisters coming in and really taking good care of me, I would have built the confidence back up to, I mean, and they came in to talk to me. They became my friends, and
And look at you now.
the therapist helped me, and my insurance helped at the time. So like I said, it's good to have good health insurance, but when it stops and it ends, that's a whole nother story. um
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate the care that I had from all of the hospital staffs. And if it wasn't for the medical team and God, man, I would not be able to walk today. I had to have a blood transfusion. I had to go to 8 surgeries. I mean, I broke everything, everything.
But you are here now. You are walking, you are talking, you are screaming, you are jumping, you are dancing, you are changing lives from coast to coast. And I love it. I love it. She never lost spunk because homegirl was talking, cracking jokes. I believe it because that is the chosen that I first met. And we're going to talk about how I first met you anyhow. But however, I am excited and proud of you, chosen, because what you have been through so far would have completely broken and shattered the average person. So that already tells you that there's nothing average about you.
I
Your
don't.
story continue needs to be heard. And even when you speak the smallest amount of times, right? Somebody's listening and waiting to hear your voice. So continue to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
But there's one thing that you said um, that's important, and we're going to transition over into that. At the time you had great insurance and all the things was working out. And unfortunately, when life happens and things happen, insurance changes. And when insurance changed, some other things changed that, we started. I'm not going to, well, I'm say we, because it wasn't by yourself, right? There was some drinking going on and some other things that you in turn started doing. Well, later on down the line, you started something called a 50 days of healing. What is that? What is 50 days of healing
Okay,
and why?
I want to talk about that. So yes, I was, because of the impact of my accident, I was prescribed a lot of medication. I'm talking about strong narcotics, okay? And so for some reason, when I would go for blood tests. Evidently, I don't they said it wasn't coming up in my blood system as much as it should have, right? Or whatever. So what they kind of scaled down the dosage a bit or whatever the case may be. And then, they put it back up. But listen, what happened was I was I with your job insurance, they usually cover you for about a year, right? Well, I was already out for a year. So throughout that whole time, I had great insurance. Blue Cross Blue Shield was taking care. I was able to go to physical therapy. I mean, I had them coming to the house, doing whatever I needed them to do. But it was when the job said, hey, are you able to come back? And I wasn't able to come back. Then it's that 3 months period where you lose your health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the time where you're eligible for, you either go on a spouse insurance plan, or major life event happens, or you're eligible for Medicaid and Medicare. Well,
Right.
because I was deemed disabled, I was eligible for Medicare. So that helped a bit. But the Medicaid and the Medicare together, I went from they're saying, okay, well, you can't get this prescribed medication, but you can get this.
Okay.
So certain medication that I used to get, they used to work for me, it didn't work the same.
You can get it no more. Right.
I couldn't get it no more. Okay. So where I would have access to therapy 5 times a week, now it was 3 times a year.
Here.
Seriously.
Seriously.
Wow.
Literally changed thing. And so just talking about an individual that's riding motorcycles by herself, not on the back now. I'm riding.
You right. You right.
Cars, doing it all. And yet now my whole life is changing to where I'm on crutches, I'm on a walker, I'm in a wheelchair, I've got rods and poles and stuff like that. So my mental health was very really affected, and I couldn't move. So I was crying out for help, and it was no one to help, The doctors are only gonna give you but so much of what your insurance can pay for. Right?
Right.
So I started to self-medicate. So I no one knew this, but I once those pills started to go, I got addicted to those pills. And it was a straight up where anytime I would feel a little pain, now I have a pill. A pill.
Okay.
So when I was like, yo, I didn't really like how it was making me feel. I said, okay, well, you need something for the pain. What are you going to use? Because chosen, you can't sit here all the time. You are 30 something years old. You got to get back up. So what used to help me was alcohol, right? But I would be able to take a little bit or whatever, and then I'm able to, the anxiety would go down, the pain, and then I'm able to go, right?
Okay.
But it started, it was okay. But then I noticed that it started picking up, picking up to where it became a full out. That was my go to. Anytime I got back in school, anytime I had any type of stress, hurt, pain, or whatever, that was what I went to. Oh, I got a paper due. All right, it's okay. I'll just take a shot and I'll be good. Oh, I got some pain. I'll just take a shot. So what I was doing was self-medicating. So we're gonna go forward. I said, listen, I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to be dependent on these substances to be able to manage, right? And for one, I didn't want to be a hypocrite because for one, I study, and I didn't want to be going out in the service and saying, hey, smelling like pot or you know alcohol.
Right.
So I just, so I said I prayed, and I said I'm gonna do something, and I didn't go back on the opioids or anything like that. I said I'm gonna do something different, and I'm gonna go on a 50-day challenge. And I encouraged a group of women to join me, and I said we're gonna do this. And they don't know I was helping them, but they was also helping me. And it was the 50 days. I cried every day. I mean, I didn't talk to people that much because I didn't want to be triggered into, like, oh, I'm not this and not that. Like, I literally had to deal with all the insecurities, all the pains, everything. And I started boxing. And I said, so at the end of the day, my husband would say, come on, let's go to boxing. I would go and use that to kind of get my mind off of all the things. But what I would do is I would cry in silence. Like, I knew you could cry, but don't let nobody else see you. So by the time your husband come home, by the time your kids do, you gotta get right. And I would
That
do it.
mask back on.
Put the mask back on. So by the time that 50 days came, I was ready. And I felt good. I lost weight. I was sober, and I was there. I mean, I was like, yes, 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 yes. And then, I went away, and then something happened, and I said, well, we're gonna go into that. I'll let you ask. But yes, that's pretty much
But
self-medication, not
okay.
on using self-medication substances and things like that, wanting to be sober and just to feel it all. And I felt it all for the first time in a new environment outside of the domestic violence, outside of North Carolina. um had a degree, new kid, new business booming, all these things working for me. I said, let's now take it all in sober.
Well, you are doing it. You are doing it because something else that you're doing it, you went from all these different things to, and you keep hearing me say you're changing lives. What I have not said is that you're currently working on your social worker degree.
Yes, so I am.
Tell us about it. What are you currently in school for? Where are you in school at? And what degree, ma'am, are we almost done with?
So beyond the titles of a mother, a wife, a woman that had to go through many trials and tribulations to become the woman I am today, I am currently pursuing my master's of social work to become a direct practice mental health therapist. So, and that's what I'm currently working in. You can have it. hmm So yeah, and I love it. My professors, they're just like, Chosen, you are definitely, yes, you can have it. They're like, Chosen, this is for you. But I have to. I always say from the hood to Howard.
Yes,
So
come on.
to one of the one of the most respected HBCUs in the country, which is Howard University. And when I got the acceptance, it brought tears to my eyes. A lot of individuals say, "Listen, move in silence," but I want the world to know. Listen,
Baby, scream that one.
girl, the one that may speak a little Ebonics, I might spell a word miss wrong or whatever.
Baby, that's more than the little Ebonics. But we all right though. Like you said, from hood to Howard.
Hood
You
to
doing
hood
that.
to Howard, and I'm sitting
Yes.
with doctors and directors, and I'm like, I'm directing, and they're saying, Chosen, no, we want to hear what you got to say, and I'm like, really, y'all want to hear what I? They said, no, come on in here, we want to hear. And today, we know it's just what I'm learning every day, and I'm actually in mock talking to clients, so it's changing how I move on a professional basis as well as a personal basis as well. I'm more calm. I don't cut people off as much as I used to do, and I'm not trying to fix people. I'm trying to learn what it is that they've experienced so that I can help them and guide them into a way that they can heal. But the thing that separates me from another social worker with a master's just coming out uh, at 21 is that I've got lived experience. You understand? So you can sit in the room with me. I'm not just going to be taking notes. I'm going to actually be feeling what you're going through, not the counter transference. That's a big word that I learned.
Yeah, big
That
one.
something where I can have a person that I'm of domestic violence. I can't share my story. So I'm glad you giving me what's in my cup to spill now, because when I get in the room with them clients, it's not about Chosen. It's about.
Nope.
So I'm really, really appreciate the opportunity for Howard. I don't have that. Do I belong here? They're like, you are here. We got your grades. We know the work you've done with your nonprofit organization. Um, it's just, and it's my personality, and
Oh, you got a big personality, and I love it.
I really love, and also too, I'm the person that I'm gonna stand up for other individuals. Like I
Yeah.
don't not the bystander effect. I'm not just gonna stand and like take my camera out and say, "Oh my God, look at what's going on over there." I'm gonna scream out the window, "Y'all better stop that fighting and get on back to go home, kids." Or so I'm just gonna
Right.
call the police on you. That was me and my mom.
She said, yes, she do.
I do not like people bullying other people. So I'm the person that advocates and stands up for justice. And but I'm sweet though. So even though out of everything that I've been through, I can be hard, but I got so much love. So I think that's what really helps me, in my
Well,
profession.
so one of the things you touched on was that, you're not just in when you're in with your clients and in with, your classes, you're not just taking notes or what I call regurgitating from a book. You are talking about experience, and you are able to give your perception from experience, and you've also in your book from healing to hustle, because baby, that's a story all of its own, right? And I know your story not finished. This is just the foundation of, because baby, you just getting started. Tell us about From Hustling to Hustle. What is this?
I like it. From Healing to Hustle is my this is my book. From Healing to Hustle, she cried in silence, loved too hard, stayed too long, and still she got up. From Healing to Hustle isn't just a book, it's a testimony, a lifeline, a bold reminder that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you are never too far gone to rise. Me, I opened the door to my most intimate, painful, and powerful moments. 12 years in what we discussed briefly, abusive relationship, trauma from a near fatal motorcycle accident, betrayals that cut deep. In the sacred journey of healing in a world that expected me to break. This book is for the woman who smiled through heartbreak, the friend who always shows up for others but cries alone, the sister who is rebuilding quietly, the mother for the mothers who lost her fire, the survivor who's ready to turn her pain into power. It's not your fault. You are not broken. You are not alone. You do not deserve to just survive. You deserve to thrive because healing is possible in the hustle. That's you and that's me. So that's what this book is all about, and it's 10 chapters, and it's I'm telling you, if you read this book, I've sold over 500 copies. I can't even believe
Yes, come on.
where are these people coming from. I think it's word of mouth, and it's also too what I have in the back that just gives a real insight of like how to prepare for generational wealth and how to financial, and it just gives a lot of tips to help survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking. So it's a really good book.
Well, I am proud and excited for you, Chosen.
It's all
Look, come on, friend. You know, it's nice to have those friends that's going to hype you up each time. But that friend right there also gives me the vibes that she going to pull your coattail at the same time. Is that true?
oh see, you got one of those friends that's gonna pull your coattail and say, come on in here, come on in here. I love her. I've known her since I was 12.
Okay.
And she's gonna be one of those friends to say, yes, I love everything you're doing. You're doing great. And if you got a little something on your teeth, she's gonna say,
She going to call you out. Got it.
yeah,
Got it. I love that.
yeah.
I love that. So let me tell y'all, when I first, because I also want to know, well, we talked about you being a business owner and an entrepreneur, right? Because when I first met you, you was on a reality show. Are there any more reality shows in store for when I first met you, baby, your personality was big and bold and you was telling it like it is, right? So I need to know, are we going to see you on any more big screens in the future? First, that's my first question.
Absolutely. You're definitely gonna see me on the big screen in the future. And not just me, you're gonna see my husband as well.
Oh,
So y'all know
we tag teaming.
I'm on a NDA, which I was on an NDA for the Real
Okay.
season 3, where we couldn't discuss, who won, who didn't won until after. So it's the same here. I'm on an NDA. But yes, House Hunters, me and Mr. Jones, we will be on there, and that has been like one of my dream shows, and like
Okay.
that's a lot too. Where I've been traveling. Oh, I'm going there. Okay,
No,
but
no, no, no more, no more.
it's
Okay,
coming.
y'all.
I won't see it. Y'all know I'm
I
a
need y'all to go look up and make sure you tune in to House Hunters. You
yeah.
gonna have to do your research to find out when the Joneses are gonna be on the House Hunters and all the things, because we don't mess with NDAs over it. Well, we mess with them, but we don't mess them up, right? So we gonna leave that right
Yeah,
there.
so I'm good with that because I was coming back for
We
for
ain't gonna talk about that either because we don't know what's gonna happen in the
oh,
future,
you
right?
never know in the future. So yeah.
Because I see, because that man there that you talking about, he like, and if y'all don't know, we talking about Dr. Casual Pitts, the director and founder and all the things of the Real Entrepreneurial reality show. He like to throw a plot twist out there on people real quick, like. So we ain't gonna talk about that. So we gonna bring that back.
Dr. Pitt.
However, right? However, I want to know, because we talked about you being a business owner and an entrepreneur, but what we did not talk about is everything that you do. Tell the people, what is it that Chosen Jones do, where they can find you, and how you are out there shaking things up.
Well, for one, I have a successful business, Chosen Culture Party Rentals and Event Planning, also known as Chosen Culture New York, and now Chosen Culture South Carolina. So we provide anything from, or any equipment that you need for any events, from your weddings, your graduation, your proms, even, your corporate meetings. We also provide venues. We provide fishing services. So I am a registered officiant, so I am able to marry anyone. But you have to have a
Chosen. I'm gonna bring you back. Look who we talked up. We talked him up.
yes,
You're
yes,
gonna be in
yes.
trouble. But go ahead. Keep telling us.
So
Chosen
yeah,
Culture. What do she do and where can we
a
find you?
Chosen Culture Party Rentals and Event Planning. I've expanded to a second location in South Carolina where we're offering the same services. We also offer luxury transportation where we have the High Roof Sprinter transportation, and we have partnered with someone that has a Rolls Royce as
Oh,
well.
nice. Okay.
Right. So yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. So we
So
got party rentals in New York and South Carolina.
New York and South Carolina. We my website is www.chosenculturepartyrentals.com.
So
All
it's
right,
up and ready now.
go ahead. Yeah. Oh, it's been up and ready. Oh, we
Oh, see, we missed that. Say it again for the people. Go ahead.
so www.chosencultures chosen culture partyrentals.com. So it's culturepartyrentals.com.
Got it. Y'all got that.
Uh,
Chosen
um,
Culture Party Rentals.com. And I am going to get that and tag it in so we can get that up there because we're doing New York and South Carolina. You have an event coming up in South Carolina for your 10th anniversary of being able to walk, talk, jump, and dance. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So every year in May, I've been doing an event to, about the reunion of my when I went down or whatever. Last year we did a fashion show called Thick Madams. So I wanted to, build the confidence, of
Mhm.
women, show different styles and sizes and things like that. That event was phenomenal. Okay, so
Mhm.
with this year being 10 years, and I got a secret, but y'all gotta pull up at the event to see it, right?
There you go.
Yes. Oh, so I said, well, what can I do this year? And I said, well, it's 10 years and you're gonna you got something going on big in South Carolina. So why not join it all together and show the people what you can do. So it's kind of more so like a celebration and to bring South Carolina and to introduce, you know, chosen culture South Carolina. So people are gonna come and say, oh well, Chosen has the bouncy house. Chosen has the popcorn machine. She has the cotton candy machine. And we just have now this new the portable pop-up tent, so
Okay.
we have all these things there for them to come. And anyone that does want to come to the event is in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Y'all can inbox me. I can give y'all the address. I'm not gonna post it on social media because it is a private location. But all that are welcome can inbox me and I will give you the address. I'm just asking that you support by purchasing my very own Healing Looks Good on Me. Matter of fact, give me one moment. Let me show y'all.
Yeah, I want to see that because I didn't see that one.
And look. This here go your here go your shirt. Hey, friend, here go your shirt. But this is the
I need one of those. So we're going to talk after this. I need that. I'm
right.
going to need one of those.
That is $25. So that's I'm looking. That's
Okay.
my own merch, and a percentage of all sales are going to support our Fire Ladies Foundation, victims of human trafficking, domestic violence, and trauma. So I just wanted to let y'all know that it's not going for me to go on a vacation. It is going in for a
Going
cause.
back to the community.
Y'all going for so when you participate, support, it is for a purpose. I want everyone to know that. And we do have a website for that as well. So I have Chosen Culture uh, partyrentals.com and www.fireladyinc.com. So it's two different websites.
Okay. Okay. Well, Chosen, to the world, you're known as Chosen Culture. I've been calling you Chosen Jones because that is part of your name, right? But to the world, they're going to find you as Chosen Culture. I am excited that we have finally been able to have this much needed conversation. This is not the last time that you will be on What's in Your Cup Conversations. You will be back. And as everybody know, What's in Your Cup Conversations is going on location. So we may actually end up at one of your events, going live from the red carpet, purple carpet, whatever color carpet you have. We're going to have to figure that out, because we come in to make sure that we support what you're doing, what you're supporting, what you're doing with Fire Ladies. The fact, again, that you're still walking, talking, and changing lives and telling your story. If the world do not remember anything you've said this hour, what are the two things you want them to take away and remember from Chosen Jones?
Two things I want the world to remember, what I had to learn, is self-care is necessary. Okay. Showing up for everybody else and not taking care of yourself is not healthy. So they say this famous thing in flight school. They teach you when you get on the plane, put your mask on first, then put the other person's mask on. So I would say take that time to pour into yourself. It's definitely needed. It has helped me to be a better mom, better friend, better sister, better wife, better entrepreneur, better clinician, and setting boundaries. You have to set the boundaries, okay? It is okay. A lot of times I used to beat myself up. Oh, I might have hurt that person's feelings. Oh, I didn't want to do that. It's okay to set them boundaries. Okay. It'll save you a whole bunch up later on.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
And
that's what I
on
would.
that note, Chosen, I love you. I love you for life, and there's nothing that you can do about it. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us for this episode of What's in Your Cup Conversations. Make sure you go to the website, and you will have a link to everything that Ms. Chosen Jones have talked about, including all of her upcoming events and how you can use her party rentals, Chosen Culture Party Rentals. Make sure you go in and purchase her book as well. And until next time, remember, this is your life. You hold the pen, which means you can change the narrative. Talk to you soon.